Special thank you to Seed and Stone Cidery and Lucky Buzz Meadery for sponsoring the show today. They help to make this show possible and supply us with the occasional beverage when we're out there. They've got 10 taps full of meads and ciders made right there in-house. They've also got all sorts of awesome events going on, including an open mic almost every single Thursday where you can come out and show your musical talent. So all you songwriters out there, stop out and grab a cider or a mead and tell them that the Songwriters Couch and the Patrick Joanne Band sent you. Again, Seed and Stone Cidery right here in Rochester, New York. Go out and visit them and let them know we sent you. Thanks, guys.
All right. Welcome to the Songwriters Couch. We're on episode number 14 and in the studio today, and I should have probably asked the pronunciation of your last name, Denali.
I want you to try it.
But is it, so it's Denali, because it's changed recently.
Yes.
Siriesco?
You were close.
Siriesco. Okay. Well, my last name is equally as challenging to both spell and pronounce. Yeah, so I know the struggle is real. So,
absolutely.
But thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So this is episode now 14. First of all, I want to thank our sponsors again for sponsoring the show. You're the reason that we have the ability to do this. So thank you very much to Seed and Stone. Thank you for all the listeners. One thing I want to say before we start, if you have yet to actually subscribe and you're watching this, I'm very disappointed in you. Your mom is very disappointed in you. Your brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, right, Denali, are very disappointed in you. So go down there and hit subscribe, hit like, maybe throw a comment down there, say, Pat, stop telling me to subscribe. You're not my parents.
You're not my dad.
Right, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. And while that's correct, still do it. Okay, so go down there. Denali, thanks for coming on the show. Before we get started, too, why don't you throw out where people can kind of find your stuff, or find you, or find out what you're up to?
I have an Instagram page that is my first name dot last name, so Denali.Siriesco, that you can find all of my links from my link tree that's in my bio that has my Bandcamp and my Spotify. All of my music is on there. And I also do photography as well. So I shoot weddings and all kinds of things. So those are my creative outlets for...
I found that a lot of our guests are multi-talented creatives.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it seems to be like either a blessing or a curse for everyone involved.
Trying to balance my time with all of my creative things that I want to do is sometimes difficult.
So I want to touch base real quick.
Yeah.
You said a phrase right before we started here that I was unfamiliar with, because I'm just an old guy now, an old rock guy sitting on the couch here next to a youthful, a young person. And what was the phrase you said? Do you remember now? Oh man.
Full send.
Full send. So what does that mean to know?
You fully invest yourself into what you're doing.
Into it. So
full send.
For all of my old people watching, full send, right? Is the phrase. So
absolutely.
I feel like if I learn something every day, Denali, then I'm satisfied.
That's right. I mean? You're living a full life if you're learning something
Mr. Rogers back in the day taught me that. You gotta learn.
I love that.
Did you happen to see the Mr. Rogers movie?
No. Was it Tom Hanks?
Yeah, I think it was Tom Hanks. I don't think I've seen that yet. Have you seen that? You did? Was it good? Yeah, it was good. Huh. All right, well, I'll have to watch it.
Check it out.
Did you ever watch
Mr. Rogers?
Mr.
Absolutely.
Rogers
I had no cable as a kid, so we just had PBS. So I watched Arthur and
Sesame Street?
Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, all of the good ones.
Is Sesame Street still in its current or its old format with the puppets and stuff, or was it?
I think so. Yeah, they've made new ones. They have Abby Cadabby. She was newer.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
They have a lot of different kinds of puppets, but they're still doing puppets.
I thought maybe they had changed it to CGI. And it's all
gosh, no! Don't do that, Sesame Street.
3D, and you know what I mean,
oh no, that would be
anime.
terrible.
It's more like anime now.
I was always a big fan of the Muppets as a kid, so
So, did you ever go to New York City?
I've been Twice, yes. I went in my junior year of high school for the music trip, and then I went as a senior in high school to visit colleges.
What? Were you going to go to school in
I
there?
was considering Marymount Manhattan for photography, but then I ended up going to RIT, and I dropped out. So
Perfect. Well, RIT is a good school too, though. I mean, in general, for photography and film and all that kind of stuff.
I ended up just going my own route and learning myself, like through practice. And
I feel like nowadays, except if you're going for like to be a doctor or you're going to be a lawyer, like something specific where you need to have the degree for it, it's almost like you can learn most of that stuff on YouTube or
and like
online.
Literally learning through practice and just like doing it is, to me, better than just sitting in a classroom and learning about the different things that a camera can do.
I mean, you'd probably have to know some of that stuff when you're getting out there, right?
Absolutely. I've taken some classes with local photographers, and I've worked with a lot of local photographers, but I think that working on the job, I've learned a lot more than I did when I was at RIT.
So why don't we tell the good people at home kind of what you do. So you're a songwriter, you're a photographer. We talked a little bit about photography. But how did you get into writing music and
oh goodness,
and not only writing music, but first of all, probably you need to learn. You needed to learn an instrument. You need to start singing or whatever.
When I was in 5th grade, I picked up the viola. That was my first instrument. I didn't like the violin. I thought it was too screechy, and everyone played the violin. So I was like, no, I'm going to be the weird kid who plays the viola. So I started taking private lessons and playing in orchestras, and I really, really loved it. And then when I was about probably like 12 or 13, I really wanted a ukulele, and I got this one actually. This is Venice.
Oh, so that's
he's my oldest one that I have. And he's an acoustic electric. My dad, from growing up, he got this one for me, and he is my tried and true tenor buddy, and I've written a lot of songs on him, and he's been with me for a long time. But Jack Johnson has been my biggest songwriting inspiration for years. I've been listening to him since I was a little girl, and I've always really loved his music and loved like how his songs flow and just make you just feel good. And that's
he's very much like a surfer kind of, like
he
chilling
is a
on the
surfer.
beach.
He's a really good surfer.
You know what else I learned? Eddie Vedder is a surfer from Pearl Jam.
Really?
Isn't that weird?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's like really into surfing or whatever, and he actually did a like a ukulele album. I forget the name of it now.
I'll have to check that out.
It has a picture of like a statue that's underwater or whatever, but it's all, I think it's just called Ukulele Songs or something like that. It's great.
Oh, that's
actually
so cool. I'll have to check that out for sure.
Yeah, there was that movie about the guy who went to Alaska into the wild.
Yeah.
And was I right?
It is just called Ukulele Songs.
Yeah, there you go. Ukulele Songs by Eddie Vedder. It's good album.
Yeah,
for real. I mean, there's a couple of songs that are like, it's all right, but for the most part, there's good stuff. But I think he started writing on a ukulele for that movie. He did a couple of songs on it.
Yeah,
which the soundtrack to that is unbelievable. The fact that he just wrote the majority of that stuff.
I love that.
I bought a ukulele once, and I just never.
You never played it?
I never followed through.
See, for me,
on it.
it's like 6 strings is too many. So I prefer my 4-string instruments. I started with the viola and then moved on to the ukulele.
What's a viola?
A viola is like a violin. It's got a little bit bigger of a body, but it is strung.
Kind of like me.
It's got the same note strings as a cello.
Okay.
So instead of the high E, it has the low C.
And you still play it?
Upright.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is it about the same size as the ukulele or bigger, you think?
It's probably about the same size.
For a musician, I know very little classical instrument names and stuff. I've noticed that since this show has started. And every time someone mentions something, I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I guess that's what happens when you're like just a rock musician. You know what I mean? I know guitar and drums and bass.
Yeah,
it's good enough. Although I did learn to play the flute once. My cousin had her flute, and she had taken it in school, and she was pretty good at it.
Yeah.
And then she stopped playing, and I grabbed it from her one day. I was like at her house, and I was like,
I'm
"Oh,
gonna
if I
try
borrow
it."
that?"
Yeah.
And I learned how to. I was like decent at it or whatever, but never followed through on that either. I mean, it was too much learning to play music, like write, like written music and stuff, and I just don't have the patience for.
No, I am not a composer. I am a songwriter.
So, you said your family was into music as well, or was it something?
My dad, from growing up, introduced me to a lot of really cool music when I was a kid, and then I just have branched out since then. I have a lot of vast music taste. Like I like a lot of different things.
Very eclectic.
Yeah, but different, like just different kinds of music from different parts of like the music world.
Like Wu-Tang Clan?
No, that's not one
not
of them.
Not DMX, no?
Amy Winehouse is definitely my biggest vocal inspiration, and I take a lot of inspiration from how she sings and like the things that she can do with her voice. And I'm sad that I'll never get to see her live. But
so there's well, you might have the chance if this AI stuff takes off and they have the holograms and all that. You might be able to see a version of her.
So crazy.
Whatever twisted, evil version
I know. Oh my
goodness. That they're doing. You know what's crazy too? I have some friends that are actors and whatever that are, were part of the, is it still going on? I think it might still be going on.
I think they just finished the strike. Yeah.
But there's this whole thing about AI because some of the bigger actors are starting to sell their likenesses to the studios to say, they know this is coming regardless, right?
Wow.
So like the Tom Hanks, speaking of, I'm going to start a beef with Tom Hanks. Get on the Tom Hanks. I'm coming for you, Tom Hanks. Okay. But some of these actors are like selling their likeness so that in the future, even if the actor's dead already, they can make a movie with the actor and their likeness and all that stuff. They were doing that
for the Star Wars movies.
And their families can get paid off it or whatever. But the fear is, that down the line, like there may not be spots for new actors or new musicians now and that sort of thing because of where AI is going.
Yeah.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, I don't love it. I'm a big live theater fan, and I've always been a musical theater nerd. And I just did a musical for the first time in adulthood this past summer, which was so fun.
What musical?
It was Seussical, which is the musical that's based on like Horton Hears a Who and some of the Dr. Seuss characters. Like the Cat in the Hat is the narrator of the show, and I played General Genghis Khan Schmitz, who was the military school leader in Whoville, and I had to convince his parents, JoJo's parents, that he should come to my military school, and I had a whole song, and I just had a blast.
I used to do musicals back in the day too.
Really?
In high school.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I did Once Upon a Mattress.
Oh, I love that show.
I was the jester in that one, and I had to wear tights for the first time as a teenager too. That was very very disturbing for me, and probably more so for the audience that had to sit there, because there was one part I remember where I had to sit at the edge of I had a solo. I was the jester, right? So there's this one, he has a solo in that play, and I had to go to the edge of the stage and sit there, legs over the side
when
of
he's pretending to be the bird.
No, I don't. Maybe.
I think that's the part where he's like, caca, caca.
It might be. It was so long ago, Denali.
It's such a fun show.
Yeah. But I remember thinking like, oh man, I got to sit on the edge of this stage with these tights on as a teenager. You know what I mean?
Oh no.
But I loved doing musicals, surprisingly, and I think it was just my like need to be on stage and performing.
Like, there's just such a energy when you're creating something on stage with other people, even when you're just like by yourself, like when I'm doing solo shows, just like being able to tell a story with my instrument and with my voice is such a powerful thing.
I think also part of it is like the adrenaline of something maybe going wrong too. You know what I mean? Even when you're playing solo, right? Like you know the songs, you're probably familiar. You don't think you're going to mess up at all, but still, every time you get on stage, there's this I could forget the words. Right? This underlying.
I could
fear.
Forget the chords. I could mess up the strumming pattern.
The lights
I don't know what's going to happen.
Get cut all of a sudden. Right? So there's like this adrenaline to it that I think maybe that's what makes it like addicting. Like you start getting into it when you're young, and you get used to that like dopamine of like
ooh.
Yeah, like either it goes well or it
I
goes
got
bad.
an itch. I got to do it again. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about doing another show next summer.
Who did you do it with?
It was Terry Fike's Main Street Players. They're a local community theater. They do a lot of shows for like little kids, and they are so inclusive, and I can't recommend them enough.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, I was just looking at your tattoos there.
I have
for
so
the nerds
many.
out there.
These are my Galaxy tattoos.
So I see one that I recognize, some Star Wars stuff.
The
We got
Millennium Falcon,
some
yeah.
Rick and Morty up there.
And then I got Wally and Eve from
all
the
right. Is that
Disney Pixar. That's my
Is that a
cat.
TIE fighter? Or is that,
Where?
If you don't mind me. Oh, no, okay. I just can't see it.
This on the back of my elbow is my favorite band, Jukebox the Ghost.
Oh, well, you can't see it from probably that angle, but...
And then I have a TARDIS under my arm.
TARDIS.
From Doctor Who.
Oh.
The longest running show ever.
Ever in his Allie's
Like
saying
60. It's like 60 years or something like that they just hit.
So is that what you wanted to do? Is like musical theater when you first started?
Yeah, I thought that I was going to be a theater kid, and then I was like, I can't belt. I can't, and I
beg to differ, Denali. I've heard you sing. You can do it.
I'm an alto, and mezzo sopranos are like mostly what female roles are in musical theater
for
shows.
theater, really? Huh.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of, unless you're like the villain, they don't have a lot of alto roles that are like leads for females. So a lot of the time I will sing like boys songs, because my voice is so much lower than most people.
Well, I couldn't keep up with the musical theater because I'm very terrible at dancing.
I also am not the greatest dancer.
Yeah, I
you
don't
know, if you at least just try, it looks better than you just not trying at all.
Yeah, if you saw me dance, Denali, you wouldn't be talking like that.
Oh no!
No. I mean, I am getting better. I took some classes. As a matter of fact, I might start taking them again, like the waltz and all those
like swing dance classes. That might be fun.
There's like a community center here. I go,
yeah,
it's like all the old ladies that are there, and they come out and they want to dance and stuff. So
yeah,
it was fun. But then they always want to dance with me because I'm like the young guy in the room. But then I start stepping on their feet, and then they're like, yeah, let's not go with this guy. So I think Allie might come with me at some point. This way I could just partner up with
that would be
Allie
so fun.
Yeah? Would you be down for that? Although she dances or was a dancer or is a dancer. So yeah, she'd probably get mad at me too. End up getting punched in the back of the head or something dirty. So what made you then, so you went from kind of doing musical theater, now you're kind of back to it. But you started writing songs. Like how did that come about?
So for me, the first song that I ever wrote was actually a single that I released last summer, and it's called Evergirl, and it was about my girlfriend from my senior year of high school. And
is this out the song in distribution?
Yep. You can find it on anywhere where music is streamed.
All the usual suspects, except don't go on Spotify. Go on Apple or anywhere else that pays better.
Or Bandcamp.
Yeah, Bandcamp.
We love Bandcamp.
We do
especially
as
Bandcamp
musicians.
Fridays.
Yeah, you find someone that has the musicians that have the Bandcamp through that.
Purchase their music through there
because Spotify is starting to really screw over indie musicians.
Yeah, they're not. No, but it's cool seeing I did the Spotify Wrapped, and it was cool seeing the fact that I reached 52 listeners this year, and I was like, 52 different people with different Spotify accounts listened to my music.
That is pretty amazing.
That feels exciting to me.
So you wrote that song. That was the first song you've ever put into distribution or released?
Yeah, and then
Evergirl was the name, by the way.
Evergirl, yep. Yeah. And I've written a lot of my songs are either love songs or self-love songs. And my album that I released last December 30th, 2022, is called A Chance to Live, and it was about, a lot of the songs are about like learning to love myself and recognize my worth as an individual outside of other people.
How's that working out?
I'm getting there.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I'm getting there. It's hard. It's hard work, but like with therapy and with a really positive circle of friends and loved ones, it's been something that is important to me to have a positive relationship with myself.
It's funny that you say that too, because I learned, I was playing "Everybody Hurts" by REM earlier, and there's one of these lines that it just reminded me of the open mic that we had, where there's just a bunch of musicians, or we're all kind of in that same boat of like we're all probably too emotional, too in tune with everything around us, which is good for writing music and being creative. But there's this line, I'm trying to find it here. 1 second, about your... because everybody hurts, take comfort in your friends. Everybody hurts.
Yeah.
Is the line. And it just made me think of like the open mic and being around other musicians. And
well, you can be genuine to your experience and your feelings and recognize that it's okay to have those feelings and it's okay to feel things, but you have people around you that are going to support you through those feelings.
What's super interesting? What do you need? Oh, just move the microphone. What's super interesting about musicians and creatives and stuff is that we tend to take like the rawest parts of us and put it into something that we're then gonna go on stage and
be vulnerable.
Broadcast to the universe. And then on top of that, you got to try and look almost cool while you're doing it, so that it has some saleability.
Yeah, my album release show last year was absolutely insane. What I did was I had my friend Matt Plessinger, who was on a previous episode of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go watch that, you should. He was the opener. And then I had local poet Sky Dunn perform poetry during the intermission. My friend Festival performed juggling during the intermission.
I was at that show, right?
Yeah. And then I performed my album with a band. I had a keyboard player, a bass player, and a percussionist. And it was the coolest thing in the whole world. I still get chills thinking about it. And I made merch for it. And it was such an amazing experience getting to, on the day that my album came out, the day that it released, have an actual show at Love and Cup in Rochester to release my music to the world live. It was amazing.
Yeah, I think that show was pretty cool too. I didn't expect the juggling to happen, and then all of a sudden, I think at one point I was like, oh, maybe they should have chose a taller ceilinged venue.
I know,
because I saw
they were trying so hard to get really high, and they kept adding
was
more
there a ladder
things.
or I think it was chairs,
step
right?
Stools. Oh my goodness.
And at one point I was like,
yeah, she makes me nervous. I love her, but she was actually the one who helped me record my album, Festival.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We just did it in our friend's basement and then in my brother's attic for the last couple songs, and we recorded it using GarageBand and our own materials, and now it's out in the world.
Yeah, out in the world. And yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, is it's such a yin and yang, or a dichotomy to the creative thing, because you're writing songs or writing material or whatever your art form is, that's exposing parts of you that you would probably find it difficult to have real straightforward just conversations about sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're out there displaying it.
I'm just gonna let the world know that this is how I really feel.
I had Kaylin Cervini on, I forget, this bunch of episodes ago. So Halloween episode, and she has a song I think called Naked. Don't yell at me, Caitlin, if I miss said that. I think it's called Naked, but she was naked in the video, not completely nude, but
yeah,
and she had people writing on her with markers.
Wow.
All the things basically that she, I guess, in theory, feels.
Wow.
Being either projected, people are judging about
That's
her
super
or what
vulnerable.
have you.
That's wild.
And yeah, just the I was gonna say balls, but the cojones it takes, because I like the Spanish version of it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Cojones, it takes to do something like that and get up there and just put it out there for people to see that you're not alone. Everybody hurts.
Everybody hurts.
That's right. And so where do you see now, because you have your first album out there,
Yep,
in distribution, do you see yourself putting out more albums? Do you think you're going to write a musical?
Oh my gosh, write a musical. I have a friend who's writing a musical and they want me to be a part of it, and I would absolutely love that. But I think for me, a couple of dreams of mine are, at least this next year, I'd like to release another album or EP with at least 4 songs, maybe 5 or 6. And record and release that in the next year. But my dream right now, I'm also a preschool teacher. That's like my main...
Your thing.
My career. And I absolutely adore getting to nurture and care for 3 to 5-year-olds. It's the most fulfilling job I've ever had. So my dream is to write a children's album.
Well, as a matter of fact, I just we were down in New York City, myself and Allie here, for a kind of a networking type of event with the Recording Academy people in New York. And there's a few children's music artists and I think maybe producers there.
Wow.
That are part of the Recording Academy that submitted to the Grammys and what have you. And that's a big category, actually, the children's music stuff.
I don't know if you're familiar with children's music, but like Lori Berkner is absolutely amazing. Like she wrote like the dinosaur, We Are the Dinosaurs Marching, The Goldfish, which is just a classic. I'm Gonna Catch You, You Better Run. Like her songs are so
that
fun.
One sounds scary.
And she just plays guitar and just like tells a story, and the kids just get so excited, and I want to be able to do that.
I got when my kids were young, I had the opportunity to go into my daughter's school. I think it was maybe first grade or second grade.
Yeah.
And I got to play like music for them.
That's
it was probably
so
the best crowd I've ever played to was that group
every
of like 30
time I bring
little
my
kids.
instrument to work, I worked with the school agers over the summer, and I brought my instrument and I played Evergirl, and I played my song A Chance to Live, which is the title song off my album, and they loved it. Like they were just...
They're probably dancing, right?
No, they were just sitting, just watching and like listening, and I could see in their eyes and in their faces that they were really genuinely like wanting to hear what I had to say in my songs, and it just felt really special.
Do you feel that adults nowadays find it difficult to do that?
Yeah, I found I was playing with a duo over the past like couple months with my friend TR, and we played at some wineries, and I noticed that there wasn't a lot of like people listening. Like genuinely listening at a lot of the shows. Like they were just either on their phones or not really worried about what we were doing, which I understand. We were kind of just like background music, but like I like playing places like Love and Cup and Boulder, where like I know that my people are going to come and they're genuinely interested in what I have to say and what I have to perform.
Some venues are a little tough. Like it depends on what you're doing too. Like if your music is very lyric centric, like you're telling stories in your songs, it's very difficult to play original music in a bar where people are drinking, they don't know your songs, like they're not paying attention because they don't know it, they can't just sing along, they're drunk, they're really not paying attention. I found the same thing. Like if I'm playing a theater or I'm playing somewhere where there's like some level of like there's attention being, the whole reason they're there is for the music,
and the
not
lights
to
are
just
off
get drunk
in the like especially a theater, like that would be amazing. Like I think it's the Theater Innovation Square that my friend Julia Weatherholtz played with her band Helium Bubble.
That we did a thing for the Fringe Festival, that poster, you probably can't see it there,
cool.
but that was at that place. It was a really cool theater.
It's a beautiful theater, and I would love to play there someday. That would be really, really cool.
Yeah, they've got a good like lighting system there, and the theater, the acoustics in there,
and everybody
brilliant.
was just so like interested in what was happening on the stage, and like that's what I love about musical theater, is that like when you're performing, like people are there to see the story you're creating on the stage,
and you feel like the kids really kind of zone in on.
They were zoning in. They were really genuinely invested in the music I was performing when I performed in my classroom, and they were all super excited, and they all wanted to try my instrument, which was really cool. So I got to teach them a couple chords. And
well, maybe I'll have to introduce you to some of the children's music people that I'm friends with.
I would love that.
And speaking of, actually in the Grammy Museum, speaking of what's her name, Amy Winehouse. They have like a tribute thing to her out there at the Grammy. Is it the Grammy Museum? I think
girl.
out in LA, and they have like her outfits and like all this like memorabilia.
I would lose it
from her. She was big with like your generation and
she died when I was in middle school. I think. I think I was in 8th grade.
Yeah, I
remember, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I feel like she's one of the last kind of rock stars of.
She just wanted to sing jazz. That's all she wanted to do, was just sing jazz, and she loved singing. And her father unfortunately took it upon himself to jumpstart her career and push her in that direction, and that's not what she wanted. The documentary called Amy is all about her like experience and like what happened with her, and
maybe I have to watch
it's
that.
very eye-opening. I cried watching it. It was so beautiful.
Well, I think that's too what sometimes happens is, you want to get your music out, and this happened with a lot of, musicians, especially back then, like the fame thing was something that's just a necessary evil kind of in the search to get your music out to people. Like, obviously the people like Kurt Cobain and
now
we
we have social media and like you have to get views in order to make the algorithm like get your stuff out there and people to actually see it. And like I have a TikTok and I just post like a cappella videos of me singing, and like I'll get excited when I get like 800 views, but like I know in the grand scheme of things that's not a lot, but like it feels cool to like know that there were that many people viewing my content.
Yeah, now you have to do all those dances and you have to do all this stuff to
ridiculous.
Get noticed. It's so crazy as a musician to feel like you have
I just want to be authentic. I want to be me, and that's what my songs are about. So it feels silly to do things that are not authentic to me and my experience just to get viewership.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what I was kind of talking about before, the dichotomy of like, having to like expose the vulnerabilities of yourself as a musician, and then you have to get on stage and kind of like, dance clown, that sort of thing, especially on the I sound like an old man. The TikTok and that came out. I think I'm in my 40s now, Denali, so it's, it just comes out. But I feel the same way. It's very difficult for me, especially at my age, to want to go on and like do the TikTok thing, especially some of the stuff. I just don't get what the draw is behind it, so I'd never even think to do it. Like we had talked about this, where there's like just pointing to something like a video in the video, and there's no like I just don't get why people are watching that. Like, why not seek out the first video and just watch that? I don't need the person's finger in the video.
Oh boy.
I mean, unless they have an interesting finger. They do have interesting fingers
sometimes
from time to time. But if you get the chance, if you're ever out in LA, go check out the Grammy Museum out there, because
oh my gosh, I would love
Winehouse
that
stuff is there. So you want to do more musical theater, I'm guessing, too, in the future. So what do you have, like a dream
roles,
play or dream role that you want to do?
My dream role is from the musical The Last 5 Years. It's a musical that is based on a story of 2 people, and there's only 2 people in the show. It's Kathy and Jamie. Jamie's a man, but I want to play Jamie, and it's their entire relationship over 5 years. But the cool thing is that at the beginning of the show, it starts at the end of Kathy's story, and the first song is at the end of their relationship. But then the second song is at the beginning of Jamie and his story with Kathy. They meet in the middle at the end of Act 1 for when they get married, and then it goes to the end of the musical. And it's the way that the story is told.
What was the name of it again?
The Last 5 Years.
The Last 5
There's a movie version of it with Anna Kendrick and Jeremy Jordan that is so good.
Have you seen it?
What's it called?
Heard of it?
The Last 5 Years. My husband and I sang the next 10 minutes together when I walked down the aisle at our wedding.
Oh yeah, you just got married recently, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hence my struggle to pronounce the last name.
Yeah, we combined our 2 last names. So his last name was Cisco and mine was Reese. So we put Reese in the middle of Cisco. So now both of our last names are Siriesco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I dig that.
Yeah.
All right, little compromise.
That's right.
Started out right. So with regards to your music now, this will air maybe after the holidays. So maybe just before. Do you have any shows coming up or things you want to kind of get out there too for anyone at least local? Or
Well, Maddie probably plugged the wrong date because we had to change our date for our show.
wasn't it New Year's Eve or
It
something?
was supposed to be the day before New Year's Eve, but it is now Friday, January 5th at Love and Cup. We are doing a show together. I'm playing a small set of original music. He's playing a small set of original music. And then we're going to play a duo set with the two of us doing covers together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. What kind of covers we doing?
Oh my gosh, everything.
Anthrax, Pantera.
No. Paramore, Borns, The Dip.
Oh, you're doing Paramore, huh?
Yeah, all kinds of music. Jack Johnson, like.
What's your favorite Jack Johnson song?
Oh man.
It's funny. I would never take you for Jack Johnson. Like fan. Yeah, I don't know why.
He's tattooed on my leg.
Well, I haven't seen the tattoo.
Come on, Patrick. No.
If I saw the tattoo, I'd be like, you know what? Denali's probably a fan of Jack Johnson, but I have not seen the tattoo. So
I think my favorite album is Sleep Through the Static. My favorite song. Might be Sunsets for Somebody Else. That's from one of his newer albums. Not his newest, which is Meet the Moonlight, but the one that came right before then, which I'm blanking. All the Light Above It, too. I'm not a fake fan. It's called Sunsets for Somebody Else, and I do a cover on it on my baritone ukulele, and my friend Maddie has always told me that it's his favorite cover of mine, and he likes it better than Jack's version.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, trying to show up Jack Johnson, huh?
I'm not trying, but Maddie says it's
But you're just doing it? It just comes naturally?
I'm doing my best.
That's funny.
I had a dream as a kid that someday I wanted to meet Jack Johnson and play ukulele with him, and that is still a dream of mine. Jack Johnson, if you're watching this,
well, Jack Johnson's a big fan of mine, so I think he's probably watching now.
Come see me in Rochester.
Let's get your best pitch to Jack Johnson to come.
Jack Johnson, I play the ukulele. You are tattooed on my leg. You are my biggest songwriting inspiration. Please either come play in Rochester and have a VIP thing where I could meet you, or something, because
or co-write.
Oh wow,
with Jack Johnson.
That would be the dream.
You know how I first found out about Jack Johnson was through G Love and Special Sauce.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff with him.
I think G Love did initially. I think that's kind of how he got into the
Jack Johnson
ether.
Wrote the whole Curious George movie soundtrack, and I think G Love is on one of the songs.
Huh. Yeah, G Love was one of those guys that kind of got big. Yeah. Like his band got big, but he's still like underground. You know what I mean? It's like he's got like what was his biggest thing? The I Like Cold Beverage, probably. Right?
I like cold beverages. That one.
Yeah. You know, my favorite one though is Milk and Cereal. Do you know Milk and Cereal?
I don't think so.
Milk and cereal. And it's a whole thing about just cereal and milk.
Baby Got Sauce.
Yeah, Baby Got Sauce. That was probably his biggest hit. But you know what the problem is? I went to go see him once.
Oh, really?
At where was it? It was back in New York City when I still lived there. And I remember going, and he was good live, like performing wise.
Does he play the harmonica?
Yes.
Okay, I saw him join Blues Traveler at Red Rocks in Colorado, and they had a harmonica battle on July 4th, and it was insane.
Blues Traveler is one of my favorite bands.
Oh, it was so freaking cool. And then there were fireworks over the Red Rocks like amphitheater, and we were just like, is this real life?
Wait, you said you saw them at Red Rocks? That's
in Colorado, yeah.
That's an awesome venue to...
Yeah, that was in 2018.
Huh. Oh, that's awesome. Did you go out there specifically for that? Or you were...
No, my mother passed away in 2018, and I was conceived in Colorado, so I wanted to scatter her ashes there.
Ah, right on. And then you got to see... G Love and
Blues Traveler. It was really freaking cool.
I do a cover of is it But Anyway? No, not But Anyway. Run Around.
Nice.
And every time I play it, like everyone like is like, huh, I know that song. And then I get to the chorus and everyone has to start singing along with it.
Yeah.
And another song like that that I've done that's a very like few and far between cover that people don't do, but The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
Yep.
Every time I do that, you get to the chorus and everyone's singing along.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a little late to the game on the emo stuff, but you know.
You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm Denali. I'm learning. I'm learning the youths.
Good job, Patrick.
The youth stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess what the next bunch of songs are they already kind of semi-written?
Some of them are written. Some of them I'm working on. But I am really excited about them.
How do you approach your writing process?
For me, I usually start with the chords, and I hear the chords in my head and like mess around with like the order that I want them in, and then I figure out a strumming pattern, and then I let a melody come to me, and then the lyrics come after that.
So that's pretty typical, because I feel like to try and shove lyrics into a musical piece after the fact,
and that doesn't work as well. I did co-write a couple of songs with Sky, and
where the lyrics
where they wrote
existed.
the lyrics and I created a melody, and that was honestly kind of cool. But I definitely, for my own songwriting, I definitely prefer to write my own songs in a way that I start with the chords and then come to the lyrics as I create a melody.
And what's interesting, because I know Sky's poetry, at the end, usually Sky is doing rhymes at the end of lines, so it's actually way easier probably to write a song.
They're a rhymer, and that helps a lot because I like to rhyme in my songs.
So when is the children's album going to come out, Denali?
That is something that I'm going to work on with Festival. I'm actually hanging out with them this next week, and we're going to talk about it because that's something that we both have a dream of doing, and I am really excited to make that dream come to fruition.
I'll promote this right now. Our new merch is out. The band, Patrick Joanne Band merch is out, and I had Ethan Keister, and I'll tag him. Oh, my hand is I'm being yelled at. Ethan Keister is an artist that basically cartoonized the band for me.
They look really cool.
They're dope, right?
Yeah.
And so we got a whole bunch of like new hoodies, t-shirts, all that stuff at patrickjoanne.com. So go check those out. But what I was going to suggest, the reason I brought that up was not to shamelessly promote, although I just did shamelessly promote patrickjoanne.com to go buy merch and help support the Patrick Joanne Band and our future tours and music.
That's right.
But to casually transition now into what I was going to say. So if you're doing a children's book or a children's album, typically, you'd have some sort of either artwork with the album or maybe even a corresponding book along with it.
Yeah.
He's an amazing illustrator, so maybe I can kind of team you guys up together
I'd love to get to know him.
Maybe do something like that.
Yeah, that would be
I've
really
thought
cool.
about that. I have some like my concept album, the Mask album, and then that one that I was talking about where we did it at the Innovation Theater.
Yeah.
I'd like to turn those also into books with like the album with it.
Yeah.
But
Festival has a song called The Bacon Song, and it has a book, like a children's book it's called The Bacon Song, and you can like read the children's book while you're singing the song, and it's hysterical. It's so funny.
Did they draw the stuff in it, or is it?
They had an illustrator do the book for them, but it's so, oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Yeah, I love those like mixed media projects. They can get like, from production cost wise, they can get really expensive. Like what I wanted to do for my Mask album was just like, I have these visions in my head of what I want to put out, and then I price it out, and I'm like, that's gonna be so expensive. I need to have some sort of an ROI on.
Someone's got to help me out with this.
So everyone out there, if you go to patrickjoanne.com and purchase our new merch, that can help deliver those new projects out to you. And Denali, where can they find your stuff again? It's
well, my Instagram has my link tree, so denali.siriesco, Siriesco.
So I usually have songwriters and artists that come on perform a song.
Ooh.
Right? And so you've got you just happen to have.
I brought Venice with me. I did.
So surprise, surprise, you just happen to have your ukulele in front of you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, just out of the blue. You all right? You need something? Okay. So we're going to have you perform a song. What song did you think you were going to do today?
I think I'm going to do A Chance to Live. It's my title song off my album that released almost a year ago, and it is a mantra that I like to remind myself that I am worthy of love.
What would you say to, I guess, well, you're a teacher, so to young people out there that are going to either get into the entertainment world or start writing music or start performing, like what maybe piece of advice would you give them?
Don't give up on yourself and try to be authentic, and don't compare yourself to others because you deserve to be authentic to you.
I dig it. All right, so let's one more time. I want to say thank you to the sponsors, Lucky Buzz and Seed and Stone Seed and Stone Cidery for sponsoring the show. Thank you to everyone that listens. Again, go down there, comment, subscribe, like, do all those sorts of things. Hit the bell, right? They say that on YouTube's, the YouTubes and the TikToks.
My gosh!
to ring the bell so you get notifications. And Denali's going to serenade us here with a wonderful song. Why don't we go for it? You ready to make magic happen?
Oh, maybe.
Oh, you're good. I got it. I got you, Denali.
Set some things on fire. Oh, no. All right. Joy, and I'm blessed to live it the way I wish and choose to. I never want to quit, 'cause for so long I didn't want to exist, but now I realize that I am worth it. I am beautiful, I am radiant, I'm worth every bit of love. I don't need a disguise. I am beautiful, I am radiant, I'm worth every bit of love. I will not back down and I will stand up for the things I'm dreaming of. I am not defined by things left behind. I'm staying in the past. I'll keep moving forward and I will remember that I deserve a chance to live. Thank you.
All right, Denali
Siriesco.
I'm sorry.
You were so close.
I thought I had it, and then I lost it right at the end there. But I'll get it eventually, Denali. I promise.
Yeah, I know.
I promise. So we're gonna end the show here. Again, thank you everyone for coming on, Denali. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having
and we'll
me.
have to come you back. We'll have to have you back on the show once you release your next album.
Sounds great.
Okay, so you can help promote it. And I just want to say, because it's probably going to come out just before the holidays, I believe we're going to skip a week. So if you're watching this now, we may either have already skipped a week, or you may be missing next week if you're following along. I don't have these dates in my head, Denali.
That's all
I
right.
don't have space in there for
I
anything
understand.
other than the low buzz of a zzz, just that's what's happening the whole time. But thank you all for watching. Happy holidays for whatever you celebrate. Hopefully it's safe and happy and all that stuff. And we'll definitely be releasing this before the new year. So happy fucking new year.
Happy
to
fucking
everyone
new
out
year.
there. And 2024 is going to be hopefully an amazing year for everyone, and everyone gets all their dreams come true. It can happen to you. And thank you for watching the show. Thank you, Ali, for doing this every week and doing the cameras. I really appreciate it. Denali, again, thank you for being on the Songwriters Couch, on this little experiment we're doing here with songwriters and comedians every once in a while too. So we'll have to have another comedian come on. Yeah, I've got some ideas for that. But thank you all for watching the show, for listening. If you're listening on the podcast, audio wise, thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Lucky Buzz, and we'll see you guys all on whatever the next one is. Denali.
Heck yeah.
Much respect, and later, guys.